the log home is not only going to appreciate and value, but I think also we have talked before about the serenity that log homes bring. And I try to explain that to people. It's hard to explain what you felt and try to relay that to them, how it feels when you go into a home. But I try to let them see that glimpse through me of how I've lived it. I'm not just a home sales consultant, but one that's selling from experience of living in one.
I am Lynn Gastineau, and this is the Acorn and Leaf podcast. Today we are talking with Bill Skaggs, who, Bill, is one of our employees here at Gastineau Log Homes. He is a home sales consultant that came to work for us in a very unusual way. Bill actually was one of our prospective customers who was coming to us wanting to build a log home, and then he came to work here in sales to help other people reach their dream also. So, Bill, can you tell us a little bit about why you always wanted a log home?
Yeah, actually, it kind of started when I was younger. I guess probably watching like Little House on the Prairie and Grizzly Adams. You saw the old log home out in the woods, and I guess that was my dream, to see a log home on the mountains in the snow. That was always something I just pictured. Well, when I met Jessica, my wife, we shared the same dream. We've always wanted a home in the mountains with the bearskin rug, the fireplace, the snow falling outside, and actually we did get it. We actually owned a home for a while, and we got that move me price, which was the end of the day. That's kind of how it all, we ended up moving out. But as far as the home itself, it was kind of a story how we found that home. We were driving down the road one day, and we had found a sign that said there was a house for sale somewhere down this road. And we happened to be driving down the road, and it was pouring down rain. We'd already been to a couple of different log homes that day and just really wasn't working out. And we drove down this gravel road, and this car was pulling out of this driveway. And I said, "Is your home for sale? Because this is the last home on the block." And actually it was out in the woods. Anyway, he said, "No, but I think the guy down there might be selling his." So we drove down the road to the guy, and he was standing in his garage, and it was like the Griswold moment when he walks out and he sees the big Christmas tree. We see this home, and we're like, "Oh my goodness sakes, that's the home." So Jessica and I look at ourselves, and we asked, I rolled my window down, and I said, "Hey, are you selling your home?" And the guy said, "Yep, it could be for sale." So we went inside, and as soon as we stepped in the home, we knew we were home. I looked at Jessica and I said, "I don't know how much it's going to take, but this is the house we're going to buy." And so that is the house we ended up buying, and it was our dream home, and we loved it. And unfortunately, we did sell it, but that was the beginning of our journey to buy the next house. And so we began looking for land, and we moved up to north central Missouri, where we're at now, and we drove past Gastineau Log Homes several times. And I remember seeing a sign above the log homes that had Quaker windows. Well, the old house that we had bought, we had to replace the windows in. And I said, "I bet they sell windows there at those 3 log homes sitting on the side of the road." And so one day we stopped in, and they said, "No, we sell log homes here." And so that was kind of my introduction to Gastineau Log Homes. We had been looking at other companies, and I'd probably looked at, I'd say 20 to 30 different log home companies on the websites. I look at log homes all the time. Jessica and I sat at home on the couch together, and we looked through different log homes. And so that's kind of my beginnings of loving log homes. But now we actually have progressed into, we have concrete being poured today, and our home is supposed to start here in the next couple of weeks. And so I'm excited.
Yeah, we're finally getting there. You're finally getting started.
Yeah, and it didn't go without bumps. I know you and I have talked at times. There are times that go wrong in a building process that everybody has to go through, and you're going to go through those bumps. And I try to tell people when they come here, expect it. You're going to have some things happen that do come up in your way, and you have to overcome those. One of the things that happened to us personally, which we had to overcome, was we had designed our log home plan with my father-in-law in mind. He had moved in about 6 years ago with us, and we had been taking care of him. And so the home we designed was to have two master suites. One was going to be his and one was going to be ours. This past summer was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer, and it just kind of came up suddenly. We were actually going on a site visit with a couple a couple of different families out in Idaho and Wyoming, and found out the Friday that we were going to leave that he had stomach cancer. So we were stunned. We didn't know what to do. And his wisdom, he said, "You guys go. You can't do anything here. Go out there and do what you need to do as far as your site visits with these couples wanting to buy their homes." And so we did. And we came back, and in about 6 weeks, we lost Mike. And that almost detoured our whole plans. I mean, we had actually considered throwing in the towel. It was a gut punch. And I know once, Lynn, you had told me before that a lot of times when people get ready to build a home, life events can happen.
Yes, they do.
And they throw people off, and we almost let that happen to us, and I'm glad we didn't. You said, "Man, I hope you don't let that stop you." And I remember talking to Jessica and finally coming to the point where we said, "We've got to do it. We've just got to do it." And if nothing else, in memory of Mike. And so we decided to push forward and get things rolling, and I'm excited. I can't have any more excited feeling than knowing by Christmas time we could have a dried-in home. And so that kind of goes into our process, how quickly it can happen. We're supposed to have concrete done probably this weekend, and then we're going to have the dry-in start the 5th of December. And by Christmas, they're thinking we could have a dried-in home. That's how quickly it can happen. So
That's so exciting.
it is.
So glad. And I know that Mike would want you to keep on and fulfill your dream and not stop because of him. Yeah, so that's the right way to go. Well, now what you do in your position here is that you talk to people as they are initially either calling in or making an inquiry through our website or stopping here at our model home center in Central Missouri. And what kind of process do people go through with you in going from that initial inquiry up to where they start construction?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of different perspectives that come to here when they're seeking out a log home. Some are just fact finding. They're trying to see if that's something that they can afford. And what they find is that actually a log home is just as affordable as anything you want to build on the market. And I try to educate people on that. My background is investing, and I always tell people you're building a legacy, and the biggest investment you're going to make outside of your 401k is your home. And why not put it in a home that you're going to be able to get value out of in the future? And so when it comes to homes, I'm always thinking about, what's the best value for your money? I've actually done the scientific research. I've looked it up online. What appreciates more, a stick home or a log home? And it's hands down a log home. Of course, Lynn, I've told you this many times, I look at Realtor.com all the time at homes that are for sale, especially log homes. And a good log home will not last on the internet more than a day.
No, they don't. They go quick.
Yes. Now, one that has not been taken care of or maintained, it can take a while to sell them. But man, the resale value on log homes, I can tell you from my own personal experience, we almost doubled the price of our log home when we sold it from what we had bought it. And so the log home is not only going to appreciate in value, but I think also we have talked before about the serenity that log homes bring. And I try to explain that to people. It's hard to explain what you felt and try to relay that to them, how it feels when you go into a home. But I try to let them see that glimpse through me of how I've lived it. I'm not just a home sales consultant, but one that's selling from experience of living in one. And so I want them to get that glimpse through my eyes and my experiences. And then also to show them how easy the journey is. It's not as hard as they think it is. A lot of people come and they think, oh, it's going to be a really tough, difficult thing to get through, and it's not. Our process, you start with trying to find a plan. What plan is best suited to you? Some people want to design their own, and the old saying is there's nothing new under the sun. We have 70 plans, and they pretty much look like about any plan you're going to choose. And we can modify that. We do custom modifications. So any plan that you like, you're going to be able to take and make it your own. So,
And especially today, whenever we've got our 3D CAD system with our ability to actually show the people inside what the house is going to look like before they build it. I love that. It's one of my favorite things because after doing this for so many years, so many people have trouble visualizing what the house will look like. And the fact that we can actually show them in color what the house is going to look like is really, really exciting. And I know it makes people feel a lot more comfortable in the fact that that they're investing all this money into this home and they know it's going to be something that they like, they love.
absolutely. I think I'm a visual learner, so when I see something, I have to see it and not just on a 2D print. The 3D print helped me a lot. TJ and I have worked together a lot, our designer here, and we've tried to accomplish some things through even a virtual set of goggles and taking those to our log seminars and things like that. And I love putting those goggles on people and letting them see the inside of a log home. And they're like, "You guys do this?" And I'm like, yeah, that is exactly what we can do. We can show you what your log home can look like. Even down to TJ kind of went a little bit further with me, and he gave me the color of my cabinets that I was wanting to see. So it's not something we can do for everybody, but it is something that we can try to help you see what your cabinet's going to look inside. Although they're not going to be the same style, but they'll at least give you a feel of that inside look. But last night I was playing with the goggles, believe it or not. I mean, as you mentioned, looking at the 3Ds. So as you can picture me, as somebody that's worked in a log home company for a while, and I still go home at night and I still look at things that do with log homes, and I'm looking at 3D goggles, that should tell you something.
You sound like me. I always can't go anywhere without wanting to figure out how is it built. How is this roof built? How is So I read about log homes and wood and all different aspects of it all the time. Yeah. So after people pick out a floor plan or they get an idea of the floor plan that they're wanting, what do you think is the best next step that they should do?
I think we should do a design meeting. I think that's going to give them a chance to sit down not only with our designer, our project manager, myself, or the other sales staff, that they can begin to design that home exactly how they want it. I don't want somebody to think that they have to take something that's just in the box. They get to make that their own. And anybody that comes and says, we want it with no changes at all, I kind of think they haven't thought it all the way through. So I try to help them say, hey, look, it's not going to cost you any more to make your changes. Go ahead and make the changes so you're happy with exactly what you want. I don't want you just taking something in a box and saying, okay, we had to settle for that. I want you to be able to say, that is my home plan, not just yours.
Bill, after all these years of seeing all the different houses, and we have a standard plan that I may have been in many times for different customers, but the same design. And depending how the people finish the inside, you would never guess that it's the same floor plan. It is so, each one is individual. These are really custom homes. They're an opportunity for somebody to get the house that they've always wanted, built the way that they want it. And everybody's always lived in a house that they think, well, why did the builder do this? Well, this is your opportunity to build it the way that makes sense to you and have it how you want it. And that's one of the things I love about what we do.
I agree with that. As you're aware, I look through the plans all the time of homes that we've completed. And I know the Missourian was one of your first home plans ever. And the many modifications that I get to watch and see of that home. And you'll be like, wow, that started as a Missourian and it turned into this. And I think that's a lot of our home plans. They have been modified from maybe a different plan. And I think you've adopted them through the years, if I'm correct.
Yes, yeah. We have. And I've probably been in 100 Missourians, and not a single one of them looks alike whenever you get done. So it is amazing. And people's creativity as far as how they finish out their houses and things that they do, that's what it always blows my mind how many different ways that people come up with. And these aren't people that are designers or interior decorators. They're just everyday people, and they just use their creativity. In a log home, I think that it really encourages creativity because you've got such a great backdrop, and it's I think it just lends itself to that creative process.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think when they go into the design process, like I was saying a while ago, that gives them that ability. And then they also have some other people that are sitting there with them and saying, hey, this is a possibility as well. Because we have seen a lot of plans and we've listened to a lot of customers. So we can suggest things that maybe they're not thinking. And having somebody like TJ in the design process where he can say structurally, yes, that can work, or we can't do it that way because of the structure, is able to maybe cut off something in the future that might be a frustration by just telling them up front, structurally we can't do that, but we can do this, and showing them a different way to maybe accomplish the same purpose.
Bill, one of the questions that we get from people is, where do you all ship to? Where are your houses at? And I always tell people, well, we have shipped to all 50 states and we have shipped to 12 countries. So wherever we're going to ship to doesn't matter. Right now we have houses under construction from California to New Jersey, so it really doesn't matter. What do you feel that people are looking for across the United States in a log home, and how do you think that we can meet that need?
Oh, that's a good question. I've actually personally been on some site visits to Alaska, to Wyoming, Idaho, and I was hoping to get to go to the one out in New Hampshire, but it didn't get to happen. But I did. We do have a home that's actually being built in New Hampshire as well. I think I've just about touched all four corners of the United States already. So in just a few years I've been here, I've been able to build homes in, I don't know how many different states, but I know it's been several. So I'm excited about the opportunities to get to go and be a part of the lives of the customers and meet them personally. But we are able to build anywhere. And I've had people from different countries contact me. There's somebody from Iceland right now that's contacting me. And I think someday he's going to build. I mean, he is bound and determined to build. So what a neat feature to be able to help somebody in a different country build an oak log home.
Most people don't understand that in the United States, we have the best housing in the world. We have the most modern and most energy efficient and structurally the best housing. And so people in other countries really want an American house. And there's, a log home is a quintessential American log home. So they think that they come here, they can buy a package and then we could ship it there, and they can actually recreate an American log home anywhere in the world. And so that's one thing that's really unique about our product. What other things do people come to you asking you about for their? They ask you about cost of construction? How do you determine that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Cost is one of the biggest things that people will ask because it is an unknown. When you go into construction, you're wanting the end price. I mean, that's what everybody's wanting to know. What's the end price out the door? They think when they go to build a home, it's kind of like going to a car dealership and you go to the lot, you walk up and down, you pick out a car and you say, I want that car. Well, that's not exactly what you're doing. What you're doing is you go to the company and you say, I want to custom design a car. And then you have to pick out all the features of the car. Well, that's what you're doing with log homes. You're starting from scratch. We are going to help you build a home from scratch. It's actually a lot easier than going and building or buying a home that's built, in my opinion. You get to make the selections. It's not somebody else picking it out for you and saying you have to have this. You get to make those choices. So who really drives the price? That's you. You get to make all those choices. It's going to depend on what kind of countertops you're going to select, what kind of appliances you'll select, what kind of flooring. All we can do is sell you the package. We'll tell you what the package price is going to run. And we can even tell you what guys that are drying in houses, the price that they're going to pay to do that for you. And then we can get you a contractor that can give you an estimate on what they're going to charge you to put it all together if that's what you want.
That's one of the things that people need to start off with whenever they're going down the road on wanting to build a log home, is knowing of how much money they're wanting or willing to put into the project, because that determines a lot when it comes to the design. It doesn't help to design a $750,000 house for someone if they only want to spend $400,000. So we need to know that information in order to help them put the design in the price range that they want to build in. The other thing that I think people don't realize is how much their location has got to do with the cost of construction. We certainly see that a home built here in central Missouri, their cost per square foot is going to end up quite a bit drastically different than what it costs, say, in Colorado to build. A lot of that has to do with the labor rates. A lot of it has to do with the building season. But, other things affect your price, like the location. If your location where you're building is very, very steep, that's going to increase the cost of construction. There's a lot of variables there that we have no control over, and we can't tell people what that's going to cost. But it's all those things are something that we can work around and we can figure out and make happen.
Absolutely. And I try to go on experience from talking to different builders. A lot of our builders are very upfront. They tell us what they're charging. And so for us to be able to help give an estimate is pretty reliable. We're talking to builders. Now, there are those outliers that, if they get to a site where you're on a very steep pitch and somebody's saying, hey, I want to put a slab out there, and you're having to convince them that that's not the best way to go. You're going to spend more for your slab than you would with the backfill and things like that. Then you could just put a crawl space or even a walkout basement. And a lot of the fear is, I'm going to have to spend a lot of money in concrete, when in fact they're going to spend even more in the backfill.
Well, one of the things that I think is good for the customer for buying from a package manufacturer as opposed to buying from a lumber yard is that we guarantee not only the pricing for a long period of time, but also we guarantee the quantity. So they know with us that if they buy the package, that they're guaranteed to have all the materials they need to build that house as it's designed. They don't have to worry about prices going up because a hurricane hits and plywood costs go through the roof or something like that. They at least can tie down that particular part of the cost of the project.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you go to a Lowe's or a Menards or Home Depot and you're buying a home package, that is not guaranteed. All they're telling you is this is what we think it's going to cost you, but you may have to come back and buy more materials at the end of the day. So, and
it also depends on when you do it, because you get the pricing one day and they won't guarantee the pricing for more than 30 days at a time, whereas we can guarantee it up to 3 years. So I think that's a really important factor in giving people peace of mind in knowing what the total cost is going to be, that they at least know what the materials are going to cost.
Well, one of the questions you asked a while ago is what does a customer have to do next? And I think at some point they have to understand they have to put some money in the game. When we go to do a design plan, we can do a lot of things, but our designs, we do put labor into it. And so they're going to have to put some money up front. We do charge what's called preliminary plans. You can do a preliminary planning, which is $1,944. Or you could do a layaway or a purchase agreement with us to put a deposit down. And that kind of gets things rolling. And the reason we tell people that they want to have their plans is because their bank is going to need their plans. And also, if they're going to have a contractor give them an estimate, they're going to need that at some point. So they need those things to get the ball rolling. And for me, I'm always the person that says, lock your prices in when you can, because tomorrow you don't know what's going to happen. And if you're looking at 5 months down the road, 5 months down the road can change a lot. And so financially, if you can, lock it in as quickly as you can.
And that's a good point that you made about builders. A builder cannot give you a price until he's got a set of blueprints to build off of. We can estimate what the material costs are going to be off of a little sketch or, variation of one of our standard plans. But the builder, he wants a set of blueprints. And a lot of times people say they want to talk to a builder when they're not really ready to talk to the builder. There's no sense in talking to the builder until you have something concrete to talk to him about and to show him, because he's not going to be able to price something without a set of blueprints.
I've ran into that a few times when a customer will ask, can I have a builder's name? And I'm like, well, I can give you their name, but here's what they're going to tell you. And they're like, well, I still want to talk to them. Okay. And so I will give them their name and they'll call me back and say, you're right. That's what they told us. We need to have plans first. And it's true. You have to have the plans. And if you don't have the plans, it's not going to help you any.
Right. And also, if you're planning on building 5 years from now, getting general ideas of costing is all that you can get. Nobody knows what's going to happen to cost of housing in 5 years. So, and a lot of our customers are thinking down the road. We get a lot of people that come in that are planning on building 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. They're not planning on starting right away. And so, being able to lock in the package price is great, but you're not going to be able to lock in the total cost of the house. It's going to have to be determined by when you're actually going to build.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Bill, let's wrap this up today and kind of do an overview of what people should expect if they call us on the phone or come to see us, and how the process would work for them.
So if you call us on the phone, we're going to try to give you direction and try to give you the best consultation we can give you on the specific plan that's going to work for your family. We're going to try to help you get into the design phase, and at some point try to get you to commit to doing some preliminary drawings, or at least maybe a deposit on your home package. If you come by the Model Home Center, we're going to take you on a tour. You're going to get to see at least 3 of our model homes. You might get to see a log cabin to go at the same time. We're going to show you all the facets of a log home, from even a dry-in stage all the way to a completed home. So you're going to get to see all that. So feel free to come by if you can. I think that's the best idea, if you can come by. If you talk to one of our consultants here, they're going to help you out. They're going to teach you all about log homes. They're going to make you more knowledgeable. Just because we rubbed shoulders with Lynn for so much, she's really poured herself into us, and we were able to share that knowledge with you. So I look forward to you guys coming to see us.
Well, thank you, Bill. And one of the things that you said previously really hit a button with me, because you talked about the legacy of the log home and how much the first one that you lived in, how much you enjoyed it. And after 47 years, that's why I'm still here working, is because I hear that from people all the time. People call me up and talk about how they love their home and they're so happy with it and all the memories they made. And not too many people can say that about what they've done in their lifetime. So it's to me, it's very, very rewarding to me to hear people say that. And I know that it's true. So with that, we'd like to close today, and thank you very much, Bill, for sharing your information with us, and good luck building your house.
Thank you. The next time you hear from me, I should be in my new home.
Yes, you will.